Hello there guys. Since we're here, I thought of doing a gear review. I didn't do it last winter, so here we go. Today I'm going to tell you about the clothes I use in my ski traverses. So I guess the thing that everyone wants to know is the clothes. The clothes I use when sitting in the tent, then when going to bed, then when I get up in the morning. Morning guys. So here we are, melting snow, having coffee and breakfast, and I'm skiing through the day and for my lunch break. For my active usage, I'm gonna distinguish between windy and non-windy days. Let's say that I've just pitched a tent at the end of the day and I get in the tent. The first thing I'm going to do is to fire up my stove. I'm going to start melting snow. And that's it, we feed the beast. The stove is going to generate heat, so it heats up the tent. That is a perfect moment for you to change. However, what I do is I keep my base layer and my two mid layers and I dry them using my body heat and the heat generated by the stove. So in about 10 minutes, the clothes usually dry. I'm gonna get the stove running to heat me up and to dry my clothes and melt snow. I'm always very disciplined when it comes to changing layers, and also I choose to travel on the very cold side of things. So basically either I don't sweat or just a little bit. It's so good to have your layers dry because then you can use them when sitting in the tent with your clean dry clothes. It's time to change into my dry clothes. I'm going to put on a heavy duty leggings from Devold. Then I'm gonna add my base layer. It's the same one as the active base layer, but it doesn't have the zipper or the neck gaiter. My insulating trousers that are excellent from Mountain Hardwear. Really super happy with them. They're a joy to put on every day. I just love to put them on. They're comfortable. They have zippers all the way down, so you can put them on with your boots and whatnot on the fly. Just put them on. You can open the zipper here so you can ventilate, and this is important. It has a rainbow zipper in the back, so you can do your toilet without removing them, and it works very well. I'm very happy with that feature. They have an odd termination here in the bottom. It's just too big open here, and this is not very efficient, you know. If I put it on top like this, it works all right. So at the end of the day, it's okay, but I still would like to have the elastic band like my other trousers, and then I would just put it instead in the inside. I'm happy with the way it is, so I'm not gonna complain. I wear a pair of heavy-duty merino wool socks. Then my super nice camp boots from Feather Friends. You can remove the waterproof liner and then you can take your socks to the sleeping bag, and this has a grip on the snow. Going back to my layers. So this is my salopette, so to say, my trousers. I'll show you now. This is the 1 kilo of merino wool jersey. Underneath the jersey, I don't know if you get to see it, but there is a yellow thing here, right? This is my icebreaker jacket. The in size large is 480 grams. It's been working well when I was skiing and I was wearing the jacket. It's been venting well. And then I have my base layer from Devold. It's called Expedition, and it's the zipper, and it works very well. I'm very happy with it. In between of the icebreaker jacket and the base layer, I would have also my mid layer. If it's very cold, maybe I'm wearing my down vest from Mountain Hardwear. Then I put the jersey that my mother made for me. It's so many layers because this jacket is not warm enough. My puffy jacket is good at negative 20 degrees Celsius. Negative 25 degrees Celsius, that's the limit for that jacket. Other than that, you really need to layer a lot. I shouldn't have to if the jacket was warmer, but it's a good jacket. It's just not good enough for these temperatures. So that's why I have this 1 kilo jersey that my mother made for me. I just pray for the wind not to change directions. And if you wonder why don't you just change the puffy jacket? I really want to replace it, but you need to pay for it. So, you know, you can't have it all. Someone wants to buy me one just because he wants to see me on the Mountain Hardwear jacket instead. Just be my guest. I don't know if you'll get to see it. It's almost negative 20 degrees, and for quite a while I can be just like this. It's okay, getting strong here. For most part, either I use the Columbia super cheap 18 bucks gloves that have finger and mittens. If I'm sitting in the tent and doing things, I just use the finger thing, and then if I'm just sipping my hot chocolate or I'm I need to go outside, whatnot, and I use this mitten feature. Just came to check the tent. With that, I usually do well. If it's not windy and my hands are cold, I'm probably going to wear a pair of merino liners. Otherwise, the merino liners and the shell mittens. These are my working gloves, so I'd rather put this on to pitch a tent. I mostly use them when it's time to pitch the tent or take the tent down. There are days that are very cold and then I find myself skiing with the working gloves. Beautiful. Sometimes I also wear the heavy duty mittens while pitching the tent and after, and once I feel my hands back, I take them off. For my head, usually I'm gonna be wearing a thin layer of merino hat from Icebreaker, a thicker merino hat that my sister made for me. Morning guys. Thanks very much, Maria Dolores. And then I use the trapper's hat. It's fantastic. It's just very, very good. In windy days, you can use it and it truly takes the edge from the wind, especially if it's lateral wind that hits you on the cheeks. So I decided to put on the trapper's hat. I couldn't warm up the cheek, so this is fine now. When I go to bed, for the most part, I take off my puffy jacket and my insulating trousers, and I keep all the other layers. Then in the morning, I fire up the stove, and then I change. Then I put merino socks, same ones I use when I go hiking in summer. I put my leggings from Colombia, synthetic. On top of it, if it's a cold day, I'm gonna be wearing another pair of thin merino wool leggings from Icebreaker, the Body Fit 175. Put my hard shell salopettes from Mammut. They breathe so much better than Gore-Tex Pro and they make 1/4 of the noise that Gore-Tex Pro make. I really like the Mammut proprietary fabric. It's just fantastic for extreme cold weather. I may or not put a vest. All my layers are available to just easily grab from my Arctic bed. And then I'm gonna have my lunch breaks. If I'm not wearing a hard shell, I put the hard shell first. It's like wearing a vapor barrier liner, and only then I put the puffy jacket. Windy days are different. I always have with me 3 different balaclavas. The one that you always see me wearing, this is my second skin, my Icebreaker merino wool balaclava. Then I have one made of synthetic insulation with fleece. What I like about that balaclava is that it covers your cheeks and your nose fully. When you put your goggles, you're fully protected, and that's very important to avoid frostbite. So, really happy guys, I've resorted to this balaclava covering cheeks and nose. And then I have another one made of Gore-Tex Windstopper, windproof. It breathes pretty well. I find it comfortable to wear. There's no need to freeze when you have the appropriate gear. This winter I'm gonna have a face mask, so we'll see how it goes. You always have to find something that allows you to breathe, but that protects your nose and your cheeks. And then I'm gonna be playing with the wind jacket or the vest. The soft shell is something that is not waterproof, sometimes it's water resistant. What I wanted is that it blocks the wind and that it breathes well. The last piece of gear I want to put on is my hard shell. It worked well for me in extremely cold winters with days below -30 through the day. It's a very cold morning again. When I left the cabin it was -28. What the? I can see it on the GoPro. If it's not that cold, it's just really bad regulating your body temperature. It just doesn't breathe. The boots I use are Alpha, it's a Norwegian brand. They are great. For people who have wide, big feet, this brand is the best. BC attachment. I bought the boots 2 sizes up because I wanted to layer socks. Initially I was using 3 pairs of socks, then I was using 2 pairs of socks, now 1 pair of socks, and I think I can go about without socks now. Next boots I will only size up 1 full size. It's always good to have a little bit of space around your foot so that the air heats up and especially keeps your feet warm. There are 2 models that interest me from this brand. This and the model called Outback, which are the ones that my friend Jan has. At the beginning of the winter I was using the boots with the Gaiters, and then it wasn't cold enough, so I removed the Gaiters. I like to have the flexibility. If conditions change, you may not want to have this gaiter that the Outback model has. When you put the gaiters, they keep your feet warmer, you feel it. The gaiters are gonna prevent snow getting into your boots. I do put on plastic bag directly on my skin. Just for a record, you need to figure out how to put your foot so that the bag doesn't wrap too strong here and it hurts your toes. So to me, the whole point of the plastic bags is not having to dry socks or boots. And of course, the benefits of having boots in the morning that are like from the shop, that's fantastic. I always have my sunglasses. I've also experimented with different sunglasses. You can have different tint, photochromatic or not, different VLT. So you need to do your math with those things. So far, I really like the yellow tint. It helps distinguish the contours, so you can see a little bit better the silhouettes and the thing on the snow in overcast and in bad days. I also have my goggles. They were a little bit narrow, so I bought a new pair of goggles from Julvo with this mechanism that hopefully is going to help me in theory with the fog. When you're building a snow wall, you want to give your back to the strong wind, then you don't get wind in your goggles, and then you get fog basically. Lights off. I'll continue a review any other time when we have light. So it's time for me to relax. I hope you see me telling you that it's time for me to relax.